Hi, everyone. Welcome to our newest series about search engine optimization. And I'm here with Carl O'Cab, who is an SEO expert. Welcome, Carl. Carl
Hi,
and
Val.
Hi. Carl and I have worked together for the past few years, and we work specifically in the capacity of helping clients optimize their websites for Google search. Today, we're going to focus on some of the biggest technical mistakes and opportunities that get in the way of businesses really ranking on Google and Google giving their site some priority treatment. So, Carl, we've been through this process a million times with clients, but we kind of always come back to the same technical best practices. What do you think, as if we were giving advice on maybe the top three, top five opportunities for businesses, how they should be approaching SEO in 2020 and even moving into 2021?
Sure. Thanks, Val. Actually, on-page SEO is one of I would say, the most efficient way that you can do to your marketing because it's easy and it's fast and whatever you do on your site, which is the on-page SEO, will definitely help your website rank on Google, even if you do the off-page SEO afterwards. So I would say the top three or top five things that you can do to your website to this 2020 and in a way to future-proof your site for 2021. The number one would be site speed because Google is really focused on they're focused on giving their users the best experience, and they can't do that if they're ranking websites that are slow. So if your website is on the usual shared $3 hosting, $4 hosting, $5, it would be best to transfer to something more robust, since the hosting of your website is it's an investment for your business. It's not just a hosting or a software or a thing you buy, just to have a website. It's an investment for your business. So having a quality web host, that's the first important factor if you want to have a site that loads fast.
Oh,
And
a quick question. So, how, I mean, I know the process that we go through, but if maybe this is somebody hearing this information for the first time, how does a brand go about determining their site speed? I know there's several tools that we look at where they can get some scores, and it's important that they pick up the scores for desktop and mobile, since Google's looking
Mhm.
at both of those platforms. Do you think are, maybe it's the best resource or a couple of resources that are easy for a business to get some sort of a site speed score, even to determine if they should move to a different server for hosting?
The best tool that you can use to measure your site speed and what are and so you can check the things that you can fix on your website is gtmetrics.com. So that's gtmetrics.com. And you can go there, you can use it for free and just type in your website, and it will show you the things that are making your website slow, like JavaScript, images, and all that. And they'll also post recommendations there. Aside from GTmetrix, of course, you can use Google's own tool, Google Page Speed Insights, and it will also show there uh, the parts that needs improvement, like what GT Metric has. But I think the GT Metrics tool is more concise and more detailed compared to Google's tools, since the Google PageSpeed Insight right now is just the new version, but GD Metrics has been there for a long time. So what we do in our agency and our partnership with Valerie is we use both tools, and from there we have a decision to, if it's either we migrate the web hosting, or if uh, based on the tools, the web hosting reacts fine, we go on to fixing the actual code of the website. And there are actually tons of stuff that you can implement to improve the speed. But the number one thing would be the host.
Yeah. I know that we've run into this challenge with some older sites, and we've either migrated the site to a new platform, a new WordPress platform, or to your point, you've done some code optimizations to approve it on mobile. I believe the last study I looked at said consumers or website visitors are willing to wait about 3 seconds or so for your site to load. But that's not an easy goal to achieve, is it? Especially with the way Google works.
Yeah, especially with the old websites that we've handled, because the old websites usually have a clunky code. You know, uh, uh, the ones that don't use HTML5 and CSS3 or newer, the latest web standards. It's usually difficult because the web browsers right now don't process the code that we used before uh, more efficiently compared to the latest web standards. So what we do is we transfer into WordPress and use premium frameworks like Genesis and DV, so that it's all done for you. The framework is there, and all you have to do is design, give a good design that's approved by the client, and then put their content there, and of course apply all those necessary page speed optimization, like the CDN, and we also use Cloudflare to manage our DNS. And Cloudflare also has a caching system that handles that, and it improves the page speed for a good amount. And of course, aside from that, one of the biggest things that slow down a website is the images. And people just upload images that are as big as 1 megabyte, 2 megabytes. And if it's on your computer, it's not that big of a deal. But if it's on a website, it's it's really heavy, because you don't want to load a wallpaper size image, but on the website it only shows as a thumbnail. And that's one of the problems of the old websites, because they don't have the image optimization capabilities of CMS like WordPress. So that's one of the few things that we can do to a website to improve the page speed.
I think also for any businesses out there that are thinking about redoing their website for next year, to make sure that they test the site speed of the theme that they're looking at, or look at some sort of a custom build. What do you think is best practice for a business that's on a budget, and then one that maybe has a little bit more budget that it could afford to do more customization? Do you suggest that they test some of those WordPress themes before moving forward with development?
Yeah, because when you use a WordPress theme, you don't have to start from the ground up.
Right.
And I mean, if you use a robust framework like Genesis or DV, it doesn't mean that you're, in a way, being cheap, because it's all done for you. And these frameworks are there because it has a purpose. And uh, that's why they're popular, because what these frameworks do is they set up almost I actually want to I explain these things to the client, like say I compared the framework of like Genesis and DV to the chassis of the car,
Yeah.
and the child theme, which is the design, is the exterior, so the fenders and all that. So with the chassis, with a robust chassis, you can change the exteriors to almost anything that you want, so long as the chassis is good, is robust, and is manageable. So if you're going to go the other way and do it from scratch, you're going to have to design the chassis, which is the difficult part and most time consuming part. And that means it's going to be expensive. So if you want to do it, do you want to have a website that's already robust and in a way on page SEO optimized? I suggest, even if you're on a budget, or if you have a little more budget, I suggest using a framework, because these frameworks are built also to be customizable. And actually, we've used these frameworks, the Genesis and DV, to build a lot of big websites, not just the regular portfolio website. We've built medical websites using these frameworks. We've used them on e-commerce. We've used them on membership sites, and that's because these frameworks are flexible and they're made for that,
Right.
to be customizable, and to have almost everything set up for you.
On the templates or the themes that have a framework, how do you go about testing the site speed? Do you put it on a staging site and then do a site speed test, or is there something else that you can look at when you're evaluating different frameworks or different themes?
Well, first of all, we have a test domain, because if you just upload it on a testing site, like say we're using WP Engine. So say we upload it on a test site there, it wouldn't give the same result as a separate domain, because uh, the staging site, most of the time, it doesn't have the CDN and the whole optimization of a separate site. So we have a test domain, and we install the framework there, and that's the domain that we use to test the site speed.
Okay.
And once we get the grade of the site there, uh, we decide if it's a good framework to use, and if it's a good child theme to use.
We've talked a lot about site speed, and I feel like we could
Yeah,
and go on and on and on. And I think we'll talk more about our other top tips and strategies for the
yeah.
technical parts in upcoming videos. But it sounds the biggest takeaway is there's a lot to know about site speed, and the best way to even understand if you have a site speed issue is to get on GT metrics and get some sort of a baseline score for desktop and mobile, and then hire a good team to work through some of the technical aspects of just site speed alone. And then obviously, if somebody's thinking about developing a new website, there's even a lot to consider with SEO. And I think some businesses assume that when they get a new website that it's just going to perform from a search engine optimization standpoint, and that couldn't be further from the truth. And we know that some things look really pretty, but they perform very poorly. But there are some built-in mechanisms that we can tap into. Carl, anything else that you want to add about site speed as we wrap up our talk today?
Um, right now is I think the things that most businesses miss is they simply just don't care about it. They they think that they have a website is that's enough. But the thing is, we're at the age where people on the internet are really impatient. You know, there are many times that I'm browsing the internet. I'm sure everyone else has experienced this because when you're surfing the internet and this website doesn't load for the first 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you just press the back button and forget about it.
Yeah.
So right now, what you can simply do is just go to GT metrics, test out your site, and do something about it.
Yeah. Yep. And this is a good time to be planning for it. Well, Carl, thanks for
Yeah,
all of your expertise and advice. Appreciate it. And
thanks,
stay
Val.
tuned. Yeah, stay tuned for future videos on SEO strategies and more. Thanks for watching, and Carl, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.